students, welcome all of you in online classes class 8 science, and in our previous video, as you know, that we have started chapter 7, that is conservation of plants and animals. And students, in our previous video we have studied about the causes of loss of biodiversity, and we have discussed in detail about the one cause of loss of biodiversity, that is deforestation, and we have studied about the consequences of deforestation. Then we have studied about the conservation of forest and wildlife, and in this topic we have studied about the biosphere reserve. So students, today we are going to start with the biosphere reserve. Children along with Professor Ahmed and Madhavji entered the biosphere reserve area. Madhavji explained that biosphere reserve are the areas meant for conservation of biodiversity. As you are aware that biodiversity is the variety of plants, animals and microorganisms generally found in an area. The biosphere reserve help to maintain the biodiversity and culture of that area. A biosphere reserve may also contain other protected area in it. The Pachmari Biosphere Reserve consists of one national park named Satpura and two wildlife sanctuaries named Bori and Pachmari. So students, what is the meaning of biosphere reserve? So students, we can say by reading this para, we can say that biosphere reserve is a multi-purpose area or a protected area. A multi-purpose protected area which is developed to conserve biodiversity and also educate, train and create awareness about the environmental aspects and eco-friendly living is called a biosphere reserve. And as we know the meaning of biodiversity, what is the meaning of biodiversity? In biodiversity, we can include the plants, animals, microorganisms that are present around us. So we can include these organisms into biodiversity. So biosphere reserve is a multi-purpose protected area which is developed to conserve biodiversity and also educate and train and create the awareness about the environmental aspect and eco-friendly living is called biosphere reserve. And students, here I want to tell you that there are 18 biosphere reserves in India. Some well-known biosphere reserves set up in our country are Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve, Nanda Devi Biosphere Reserve, Sundarban Biosphere Reserve and Gulf of Mannar Biosphere Reserve. And a biosphere reserve may also contain other protected area in it. For example, Pachmari Biosphere Reserve consists of one national park that is named Satpura and two wildlife sanctuary named Bori and Pachmari. Activity 7.4, list the factors disturbing the biodiversity of your area. Some of these factors and human activities may disturb the biodiversity unknowingly. List these human activities. How can these be checked? Discuss in your class and write a brief report in your notebook. So students, this activity you will do by yourself. Now flora and fauna. What is the meaning of flora and fauna? That we will study in this topic. As the children walk around the biosphere reserve, they appreciate the green wealth of the forest. They are very happy to see tall teak trees and animals inside the forest. Suddenly, Paheli finds a rabbit and wants to catch it. She starts running after it. Professor Ahmed stops her. He explained that animals are comfortable and happy in their own habitat. We should not disturb them. Madhavji explains that some animals and plants typically belong to a particular area. The plants and animals found in a particular area are termed flora and fauna respectively of that area. For example, you can see in the figure 7.2 a wild dog, cheetah, wolf, leopard and jamun tree are including in the flora and fauna. So students, what is the meaning of flora and fauna? We can say that all different kinds of plants living in their natural surroundings are called the flora of that place, and all different kind of animals living in their natural surroundings are called the fauna of that place, and together flora and fauna of a place form a biodiversity of that place. So, all the components of the environment are interdependent, as we can see. Any change in one component may affect all other components. So, we need to conserve biodiversity for our survival and to maintain the natural ecological balance. It also ensures the continuous availability of useful plants and animals and their products to our future generation. So, students, there is a need that we should not disturb there at all, and government and non-government bodies at international, national and local levels are constantly involved in the conservation of biodiversity programs and framing the laws to protect the existing forest and wildlife and popularizing awareness programs for conservation of biodiversity. So, what is the flora and fauna? Now, we know that the plants and animals found in a particular area are termed flora and fauna respectively of that area. Try to identify the flora and fauna of your area and list them. Now, endemic species. Some of the group quietly enters the deep forest. Children are surprised to see a very big squirrel. This squirrel has a big fluffy tail. They are very curious to know about it. Madhavji tells them that this is known as a giant squirrel and is endemic to this area. So, what is the meaning of endemic? What is the meaning of endemic? Endemic species are those species of plants and animals that are found exclusively in a particular geographical area. They are naturally not found anywhere else. Okay? So, endemic species are those species of plants and animals that are found exclusively in a particular geographical area and they are naturally not found anywhere else. For example, the Ganga river dolphin is an endemic aquatic animal that lives only in the river Ganga, and the Asiatic lion is an endemic species that is living in the Gir National Park in Gujarat, and the Nilgiri Thar is endemic to Nilgiri hills and southern portion of the Western Ghat range in Tamil Nadu and Kerala it is found. So, they are including in the endemic species. So, endemic species means the species of plants and animals that are found exclusively in a particular geographical area and they are naturally not found anywhere else. Endemic species are those species of plants and animals which are found exclusively in a particular area. They are not naturally found anywhere else. A particular type of animal or plant may be endemic to a zone, a state or a country. Madhavji shows sal and wild mango, that is given in the figure 7.3a, wild mango, as two examples of the endemic flora of the Pachmari Biosphere Reserve. As an Indian giant squirrel and flying squirrel are endemic fauna of this area. Professor Ahmad explains that the destruction of their habitat, increasing population and introduction of new species may affect the natural habitat of endemic species and endanger their existence. Species, what is the meaning of species? As we have discussed earlier, species is a group of population which are capable of interbreeding. This means that the members of species can be reproduce fertile offspring only with the members of their own species and not with the member of other species. Member of a species have common characteristics also. Now, one more activity is given that you have to do. Find out the endemic plants and animals of the region where you live. So students, in this video we will study, we will cover these topic only. We will continue this chapter in our next video, and in this video what we have studied? We have studied about the biosphere reserve, and we have discussed about the well known biosphere reserve. Then we have discussed about the flora and fauna and endemic species. So thank you everyone and have a nice day.